When people think of individuals with very high IQs, they often imagine someone who is always surrounded by others, constantly debating and showing off their knowledge. But reality is often quite different. One of the most common traits of highly intelligent people is that they enjoy spending a lot of time alone. This does not mean they dislike others or lack social skills. Instead, their minds are often constantly active and need quiet moments to process information, reflect, and connect complex ideas. When they are alone, they can focus more deeply on their thoughts without being distracted by the world around them. For them, silence is not loneliness. It is a source of energy that allows their minds to perform at their best. In other words, time alone is the fuel that powers a brain constantly driven to think, explore, and discover. Another common trait among people with high IQs is that their minds rarely ever fully rest. Even when they are relaxing, watching a movie, or getting ready for bed, their brains continue working in the background. They constantly analyze past events, think about possible future outcomes, and connect ideas that seem completely unrelated. While many people can easily set work aside and relax, highly intelligent individuals often find it much harder to do so. Their minds operate like machines that never stop running, continuously asking questions, searching for explanations, and building new theories. This constant ability to connect information helps them notice things that others might overlook, but it also makes complete relaxation a surprisingly difficult challenge. Many people assume that highly intelligent individuals are cold, overly rational, and rarely influenced by emotions. However, psychological research often suggests the opposite. Many people with exceptional intelligence actually experience the world around them more deeply than average. They can be deeply moved by a beautiful piece of music, a meaningful story, or a simple act of kindness. At the same time, they are often more sensitive to injustice, suffering, and the emotions of others. What makes this interesting is that they do not always show these feelings outwardly. Because they tend to have strong emotional control, others may see them as distant or unemotional. Yet internally, they may be experiencing very intense emotions. This unique combination of intelligence and emotional depth allows them to view life with a level of insight and sensitivity that many people never develop. If you have ever experienced this feeling, share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating insights into psychology and personal growth. One of the most reliable signs of intelligence is the ability to recognize and admit your own limitations. Contrary to popular belief, people with high IQs rarely try to act as if they know everything. They understand that the world is far more complex than any one person can fully comprehend. The more they learn and explore, the more they realize how much remains unknown. Because of this, they are not afraid to say, "I don't know," when faced with a topic outside their area of knowledge. This is not a sign of low confidence, but a reflection of intellectual accuracy. They see changing their opinions or admitting a lack of knowledge as a natural part of learning and growth. For them, the pursuit of truth is always more important than the need to prove they are right. Another common trait of people with high IQs is that they often find it difficult to meet others who truly connect with them intellectually. This does not mean they believe they are superior to everyone else. In reality, the challenge is that they are naturally drawn to deep conversations, complex ideas, and big questions about life. When they find themselves in shallow or repetitive discussions, they can quickly feel understimulated intellectually. Over time, many of them learn to keep their thoughts to themselves rather than share everything on their minds. As a result, they may appear quiet, reserved, or even distant to others. But deep down, they are simply searching for someone who can explore ideas with them on a deeper level and truly understand the way they see the world. People with high IQs rarely view their beliefs or personal opinions as fixed and unchangeable. Instead, they see them as temporary conclusions that can be revised when new information becomes available. When faced with strong and convincing evidence, they are willing to change their minds rather than defend outdated views simply to protect their ego. For them, admitting they were wrong is not a sign of failure. It is a step closer to the truth. This intellectual flexibility allows them to learn more quickly and make better decisions over time. From the outside, this may sometimes make them seem inconsistent. In reality, they are simply committed to continuously updating their understanding so that it reflects reality as accurately as possible. In conversations and group settings, people with high IQs are often not the ones who talk the most. Instead, they prefer to observe before sharing their opinions. They pay close attention to body language, tone of voice, emotions, and subtle signals that many others tend to overlook. While most people focus on what is being said, they are often more interested in what is left unsaid. They try to sacred be motivations, relationships, and hidden factors behind every interaction. Because they gather more information before responding, they may take a little longer to answer, but their responses are often deeper and more thoughtful. Unfortunately, this quiet nature is sometimes mistaken for insecurity or a lack of knowledge. If you are also the type of person who prefers observing over talking, give this video a like to support the channel and let us know that you are not alone. Many people assume that procrastination is simply a sign of laziness. But for individuals with high IQs, the reasons are often far more complex. Surprisingly, they tend to procrastinate on the projects and goals that mean the most to them. Before starting a major task, they often imagine the entire process, the challenges they might face, and even the flaws that could appear in the final result. Because they can see so many possibilities at once, they are more likely to feel overwhelmed by the high standards they set for themselves. The gap between the perfect vision in their minds and the reality of what they can create can make it difficult to begin. This is not because they do not care. In fact, it is often because they care too much. Sometimes, the things that matter most are also the hardest things to start. A fairly common trait among people with high IQs is that they become bored more quickly when faced with prolonged repetition. Routine tasks, unproductive meetings, or activities that offer little intellectual challenge often cause them to lose interest rapidly. Their minds are constantly searching for new information, fresh ideas, and problems that need solving. When their environment no longer provides enough mental stimulation, they may start to feel restless and unmotivated. This is one reason why many highly intelligent people pursue a wide range of interests, enjoy continuous learning, or change directions in life more often than others. What they truly seek is not complete comfort, but the opportunity to explore, grow, and challenge themselves on a regular basis. Many people assume that individuals with high IQs are always confident and rarely question their own abilities. In reality, the opposite is often true. Because they understand how complex the world really is, they are also highly aware of how much they do not know. The deeper they explore a subject, the more they discover unanswered questions and areas that remain uncertain. As a result, they frequently reevaluate their thoughts, decisions, and capabilities. They set very high standards for themselves and sometimes feel that they have not yet reached their full potential. From the outside, this caution can be mistaken for a lack of confidence. In truth, it is often the result of deep self-awareness and a constant desire to improve. Sometimes, healthy self-doubt is not a weakness at all. It is a sign of a mature and intelligent mind. Perhaps one of the least discussed traits of people with high IQs is a quiet but persistent sense of not fully belonging. They may have friends, careers, and healthy relationships, yet still feel somewhat disconnected from the world around them. This is not because they want to isolate themselves, but because the way they think, feel, and perceive the world often differs from the majority. They tend to ask more questions, think more deeply, and search for meaning in things that others might overlook. Because of this difference, they can sometimes feel as though they are not fully understood by those around them. However, this is not a flaw. It is simply a natural result of experiencing life with a greater level of depth, detail, and complexity. Something that is often found in exceptionally intelligent minds. After looking at all of these traits, it becomes clear that having a high IQ is about much more than simply thinking faster or knowing more than others. It also means experiencing the world in a deeper and more complex way. Highly intelligent people often need more time alone, think constantly, feel emotions more intensely, become bored with repetition more easily, and frequently question themselves. These traits can sometimes make them feel different or misunderstood. However, they are also the very qualities that allow them to see opportunities, ideas, and perspectives that others might miss. True intelligence is not about knowing everything. It is about having the willingness to keep learning, growing, and expanding your understanding. If you enjoy content about psychology, intelligence, and personal development, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join us for more videos in the future.